Hi team. Years ago when I was in the States, one of the first things they trained me on was this thing they called dispute resolution. When a customer has a complaint, how do you handle it? And I have to say, in New Zealand, we are very, very poor at taking care of customers where we have made a mistake. I'll give you an example of this. I had a meal down at a very well-known brand restaurant here where I live. This was a couple of years ago. And when I went there, we ordered, so I sat down, ordered our food, and 45 minutes went by, no food, not one bit of food. The waitress hadn't even come around and topped up our water, so we actually had to call out, get the waitress over and ask her what's happening with the food. And of course, she was a bit flustered. Went to the kitchen, long story short, took another 35 minutes to get our food out. So you're talking over an hour before we got any food. And when the food came out, it wasn't cooked well and we had to send it back. To get to the chase, when we went up to the counter person asked us, how was everything? And of course we said it wasn't very good. And instead of writing the whole meal off, she took a little bit off and then gave us a free meal for next time. And when I looked at that voucher for the free meal, I needed to bring another 3 people with me. And as I walked out of there, I said to my wife that I bet you this business is not around in 2 or 3 years. And it isn't. It's in fact been turned into a different restaurant now, completely different brand. The other one shut down. So dispute resolution is key, because you can take somebody that is a poor or an upset customer and you can turn them into a raving fan. I did it for many, many years. When we had upset customers, I went through this process and turned them around, and then they always came back to me and they wanted to see me specifically and deal with me. So what is the process? Well, the first thing is to apologise. And apologise unreservedly. Never, ever, ever apologise and say, oh, I'm sorry, sir, the reason for that is somebody else is away, we don't have the guy in today, this is happening. Customers don't care what's going on in your business, and it shouldn't matter to them. It shouldn't be, you shouldn't be telling them that. Just apologise. I am terribly sorry. And second thing is say, I'm going to make it right for you. Okay? So first thing is I apologise, we will fix this for you. Okay? That's the first step. The second step is then to ask them to tell you what happened and listen without interrupting. Again, something we're very poor at, because the reason we're poor at is we fear conflict. So we don't like to hear bad things. So people kind of skirt around it. And at this particular restaurant, the lady at the counter, she didn't really want to stand there and listen to our complaint properly. She wanted to speed through it because it was uncomfortable for her. So you need to get comfortable with that. I apologise, we will fix this for you, step number 1. Step number 2, tell me what happened, tell me everything. And then shut up and listen, be quiet. And it's like a balloon. I talk about this with clients when I'm training them. A balloon's full of air, but as the air moves out of the balloon, it withers and it's got no energy. It's the same with humans. Sometimes people will talk for a couple of minutes, sometimes they will talk for 20 minutes. But eventually, if you just sit there and you nod and you go along and you listen and you say yes, yes, okay, they will eventually run out of air. And that empties the tank, and then they are calm and ready to listen to you. Okay? The third step is just to repeat back the key outline of what they've just said, to make sure that you've heard it right. So, sir, I just want to go through that and make sure I've understood it. So what happened was this, is that right? And then that happened? Okay, great. You're not justifying anything, don't justify anything. Do not sit there and justify and say that happened because, just repeat it back so you've got it clear. So step 1, apologise. Step 2, listen without interrupting, no matter how long it takes. Step 3, just repeat back the outline of what they said so you've understood it right. And step 4, this is the rubber meets the road. What do I need to do to make sure that you're going to, 1, come back and use this again, and to say that we're a great organisation to deal with? What do I need to do to make this right? It's as simple as that. So if you need to write off money, write off money. But here's the key, you'll find, and I found this, that customers always ask for less than what you're willing to give. They always ask for less than what you're willing to give. So those are the steps to dispute resolution. Again, we're very poor. One of the things we're poor at is if I was to, let's say, take my shirt into a laundromat and it cost, I don't know, $5 to clean and press, and for some reason it wasn't done right, and they didn't want to write off that $5, they've lost my $5 for the next 10 years, every week for the next 10 years, and that's the way to view it. If it's $300, it's the same principle but multiplied. So you should want to write off more money, write off higher amounts more than you want to write off small amounts. Small amounts are easy to write off. And yet if somebody's had a meal and it's $350, the restaurant thinks, geez, I'm going to lose $350. Well, you're actually going to lose $350 for the lifetime value of that customer. And what's that worth to you? And if you add it up, it's usually tens of thousands of dollars. So don't jeopardize the future value of that customer, plus what they'll say to everybody about your brand. And these days, as you all know, online, they can tell it to the world. Don't jeopardise that. Go through the dispute resolution process and you'll turn them from a detractor into a raving fan. Go out there today, smile at everyone you meet, say please and thank you to everyone you meet, and most of all be interested versus be interesting.